The glass slipped from my fingers and shattered on the wooden floor, wine seeping into grooves like a spreading wound. Sarah's voice cut through the silence, sharp, smug. Her words stung like an open hand. "You're such a disappointment, Mark." Her lips curled, her eyes glittering with something colder than contempt. Triumph, maybe. I stood frozen in the dim light of our dining room, rosemary from the untouched dinner heavy in the air. My sister, Emily, leaned back in her chair, her fork clinking against the plate. "Well, damn, Sarah," she said quietly but firmly. "If you don't want him, I'll take him." Everything stopped. Sarah's smirk faltered. My heart hammered a sick, unfamiliar rhythm. I'd felt the crack in our marriage for months, like a hairline fracture in glass you pretend isn't there. Sarah's late nights, her phone angled just so, her laughter dying the moment I entered the room. Each moment, another pebble building a wall I didn't want to climb. But I loved her. God, I did. The kind of love that makes you swallow every doubt, because the alternative is staring into a void. I told myself it was stress, her promotion, her long hours. I told myself I was imagining the scent of someone else's cologne on her scarf. Emily's words lingered that night. Were they a challenge? A lifeline? Sarah's eyes darted between us, her confidence cracking like thin ice. "What's that supposed to mean?" she snapped, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. Emily only smiled, slow and sharp, taking a sip of her wine. I wanted to speak, to demand answers, but my throat locked tight. The chandelier flickered, shadows splintering across Sarah's face, and I wondered if I'd ever really known her. The next morning she was gone before I woke. Her side of the bed cold, sheets barely disturbed, as if she'd never been there. On the counter, a note in her sharp, slanted handwriting. "Meeting. Back late. No love. No apology." I stood in the kitchen as the coffee machine hissed. Bitter steam ground in me while my thoughts spiraled. I remembered our early days. Her head on my chest, her quiet laugh, the way she traced my jaw with her fingertips. Where had that woman gone? I called Emily. "What did you mean last night?" My voice was rough. She hesitated. "Mark, I didn't mean to stir things up," she said softly, "but I've seen how she looks at you, like you're disposable." The truth of it stung. "Check her phone," Emily whispered. "You deserve to know." I didn't want to. God, I didn't. But the seed was planted. It grew thorns. That evening Sarah came home late, hair slightly mussed, blouse untucked. She kissed my cheek, a perfunctory brush, and muttered about a long day. Her phone lay dark on the counter, a silent accusation. I waited until she was in the shower, the hiss of water masking my guilt. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. Our anniversary as her passcode, a small trust that gutted me. The messages were there, buried in a thread with Alex. Not her boss, not anyone I knew. "Miss you already." Time-stamped a night. She claimed to be at a client dinner. "Can't wait to see you again." Same place. My stomach lurched. There were photos, too. A man's hand on her wrist, her smile wide and unguarded, the kind of smile I hadn't seen in years. I dropped the phone, my breath ragged, the room tilting. Dinner that night was a performance. Sarah's voice bright, false, while my fork scraped the plate. Did she know I knew? Was this her game? I wanted to scream, to throw the phone at her, but fear held me. Fear of her confirmation. Fear of losing her. Fear of being the fool I already felt like. The next day I followed her. I don't know why. Maybe I needed something undeniable to silence the part of me that still hoped. Rain slicked the streets as I trailed her car. She parked outside a sleek downtown bar, one we'd never visited together. Through the window I saw her slide into a booth, her hand brushing a man's. Sharp cheekbones. A smile that made my fists clench. "Alex." I stood in the rain, soaked, watching her laugh, tilting her head the way she used to for me. My chest burned, a mix of rage and grief, and I wondered if I'd ever breathe right again. At home I waited. Hours later she walked in, coat damp, eyes avoiding mine. "You're up late," she said lightly, as if I hadn't just watched her world overlap with someone else's. "Where were you?" My voice was steady despite the storm inside. She froze a fraction, then shrugged. Work thing. You know how it is. The lie was smooth, practiced, almost believable. I saw you, Sarah. With him. The words tore out raw and jagged. Her face drained. Mark, it's not. Don't. I cut her off. The silence that followed was suffocating. She didn't deny it. She didn't need to. Emily arrived an hour later, knocking sharp against the quiet. Sarah was upstairs, packing, her frantic movements echoing through the floorboards. Emily pulled me into a hug. You're enough, Mark, she whispered. You always were. But it didn't feel true. Not yet. Then Sarah's phone buzzed on the table, forgotten in her rush. A new message from Alex. She's leaving him tonight. We're free. My blood ran cold. Not just an affair, a plan. A future without me built on my ruins. But Emily's voice echoed in my mind, her fierce loyalty, her challenge to Sarah's cruelty. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't a disposable one. Sarah had made her choice, but I could make mine. I deleted the message, my hand steady now. Let her think she was in control. Let her walk away. I would rebuild, piece by piece, with the people who saw my worth. The door clicked shut behind her, and for the first time in months, I exhaled.